We know exactly where we want Godforge to go. We know that we want to compete with the biggest games in the market in terms of this genre. We know we want to innovate with some really cool features and game modes.
What's going on, guys? Fateless just dropped a bangin' video, giving us a whole new slew of details for what's coming to Godforge. I'm gonna break everything down and give you my thoughts every step of the way. Let's go! So to start us off, Simon's gonna go over the whole release plan.
So the next phase for us is actually something called a tech test. And what does that mean? It's basically a test where all of the features that we're gonna launch the game with are in, and it's about making sure that all of the back-end technology is working. So if you get a drop, it actually hits your account and it hits it really fast. If you get a new hero, same sort of idea, you get it straight away, it's all functioning correctly. If you buy something from a store, you get the items instantly, they go into the right place, you get the right number of items, the right amount of cash has left someone's wallet, all of that type of stuff. So it's making sure really that in terms of technology, we are ready to release. Okay, and you actually do that a good couple of months before you do any sort of formal release. And the way we're going to do that is with an outside group. Literally, they come in to a region. We literally get like 5,000 or so users to come in and do that sort of testing. That will be outside of our normal community because we still have a bunch of the polish phase going on whilst that tech test is happening. And the next iteration of Godforge we want you guys to play is going to be when it feels more polished, okay? And it feels like basically way more bug free. That's kind of like two of the things. And obviously a lot more features into the game, that type of stuff. So tech test will be towards the end of this year. We'll also be testing things like the ability to hack the game, server loads, and our ability to deal with that. All of that type of like technical back of house stuff.
So the tech test is really a stress test. And as far as hacking, during alpha, I was actually on a team trying to hack the game. Being a good hacker though, we were looking for vulnerabilities so that they could fix them. And the great thing is that they've done a really good job so far because we couldn't do too much damage. Safety nets were in place. So I think the tech test is gonna go super smooth and will just be a time to fine tune things to deliver the application to the masses without worrying about things breaking.
So after we do our tech test, the next phase for us is to get you guys in the mix. Will actually be called our early access build. Some people call it beta, that type of stuff. Ultimately, it's going to be the opportunity for you to get back into Godforge and play the MVP of our game. So the earliest version of Godforge. There's still going to be a bunch of features. And I'm going to go through some of those in this video today. But ultimately, we're looking at that to come early next year. So likely to be February or around that sort of time, maybe a month later, depends how quickly we're able to get our build into that polished state and into a really good place for you guys to play. Our MVP version of Arena will be basically what's called async. So someone sets their defense, I set my defense, you battle, you work your way up and down leaderboards, working your way through different rankings, etc. It's the base form of PvP in my mind. You know, we've got way bigger PvP game modes which we're going to launch over time, like the ability to set up tournaments with your friends, with your guilds or pantheons, the ability to duel someone, the ability to share a battle, all of those type of things. But that's beyond MVP. MVP is the base form of Arena for us. We will have the Tower of Strife, which will replace the Caverns icon here, and it'll be a brand new game mode that you've not seen before. We will have different dungeons, which I've spoken about in a separate video. So a number of different bosses and locations to be able to go and farm your goodies in the game. We will have our campaign with all of our sort of story and cutscenes. Some of this visual is kind of placeholder right now, but ultimately we will allow you obviously to go through the different realms and tackle different bosses and work your way through our story and lore.
This is sick. I love how Simon lays everything out and just jumps from leak to leak to leak. We need more. What else you got for us, Simon?
I want to deep dive on chat. You'd probably be like, what?
Did he just say chat?
Because I'm actually pretty excited about chat.
Okay, he said chat.
We have the kind of like normal in-game chat.
And now he's showing us the chat.
We've also got the Pantheon chat, which you will be able to connect to Discord and basically have this kind of like running connection to your Pantheon Discord and in-game, which means that if someone's outside of game and something cool drops, like, I don't know, a world boss drops in Godforge, then you might be able to, or you might want to ping your Pantheon in Discord and be like, guys, get in the game. We've got stuff to do.
Wait, what? So you can just connect your Discord channel and you can ping people from in-game?
You'll also be able to have a sort of friends list, and you'll be able to connect yourself to Discord and kind of like basically bring in your friends or any friends that are in Discord. You'll be able to have on your friends list here as well.
Now, I'm going to sound like the crazy person when I tell people that I'm hyped for the chat.
Within Godforge, we've got kind of like different summoning Aether Stones. There will be obviously chances to get certain types of heroes, all that type of stuff, which is normal for a hero collector or a gotcha style game. We will have other versions of this, which will come down the line. But for now, we've got these kind of like 4 types of Aether Stones. Again, MVP is this. We've got other elements which we want to bring in at a slightly later date. The area which I wanted to show you was... we actually are still landing on the final name of this, but it's probably going to be... I'm not going to say until we know. But basically, we've got this system here where you will earn points for summoning. And you'll be able to redeem those points for a duplicate of a legendary hero that you already own. Okay, so the idea here is, you know, in some games that I've played, being able to awaken a hero to that next stage of power is really challenging to do, certainly as a free-to-play player or a low spender. We want to be able to encourage people that over time, if you play Godforge for a decent amount of time, you will be able to achieve anything that a spender can achieve.
Okay, now I have a bunch of free-to-play friends, so I'm just going to give you this megaphone real quick, and I'm going to need you to say that again.
Over time, if you play Godforge for a decent amount of time, you will be able to achieve anything that a spender can achieve. That's basically been our kind of mantra, I guess, all the way through, and it's really important to us to stand by that. It does not mean, by the way, that we do not need and want to earn revenue as a company. We absolutely need that to be able to stay alive and to continue functioning. But yeah, we really feel like this will be a good system. So any legendary that you have pulled on your accounts will be available within the, currently it's called Godforging, but that's going to change, but within this system. So you know, if you really want to awaken your King Arthur to stage 3, because it gives him a really cool additional power up, you will be able to do that over time just by summoning, and you'll be earning points basically for different summon stones or Aether Stones that you use. We've got rifts. I'm not going to go into detail on rifts today, but the one I am going to just kind of like walk you through a little bit is our normalized draft mode. We're planning longer term to have normalized PvP, to have a roguelike in the game, but the initial one we wanted to run with is this normalized draft mode because I just think it's a really, really cool system. It's in the process of being built right now. And I'll sort of walk you through a kind of like mock-up of how it's going to play. Okay, so basically you'll earn tickets in the game. Your entry, whatever we're going to call it, won't be called tickets obviously, but you'll earn your entry into the draft mode through playing Godforge. So you'll be able to gain tickets to the draft by basically doing things like daily quests or farming dungeons. So there'll be drops that you're able to pick up in the game. So you'll pay your ticket to get into the draft, and then you will be given 3 options. So it'll be a theme. You'll basically be able to see a final boss that you're going to face in that particular set of the draft mode. So each of these modes or encounters is going to be normalized, which means that every hero that you have to play with is pre-built, and every enemy has got like a predetermined challenge level, if you like. It will scale in difficulty as you go through the draft mode. So, and equally, your team is going to scale in capability. This is really about you making decisions to have heroes that complement each other, to have heroes that you know will be able to overcome the final boss, that type of thing. So, first thing is pick a final boss. And you can see just a kind of note here, players are shown 3 tiles. Each one of them is the final boss in the turn. The boss will also determine for your drafting some of the different heroes that you'll be available to you to draft, and it will also determine the type of encounter you've got in terms of enemies leading up to the final boss. Okay, so once we get past the choose a boss, we then choose a class. And the class really is about picking someone that you know is going to be a guaranteed hero along your way. It's also going to be about giving you like a buff of some sort for your team. So an example here, and this probably isn't going to be final case, but if you played in the alpha, you will remember the Isolde imprint, okay? And the imprint basically gave you healing whenever a defender was taking damage. So an example of a selection you could make is, okay, for my run, whenever an allied defender is attacked, I'm going to heal all of my allies. Okay, so basically picking up one of our cool passives or imprints in the game, and that's going to be part of your class-defining kind of structure. Just to walk through what this will do, so basically there's going to be a pool of heroes or characters that you can draft from. There'll be different passives that you can select from in this part of the mode, and as I said, it might be something like the Isolde imprint. Then go into your draft mode. So initially you will draft 10 heroes for your team, and they're going to come as like a lower level bare bones type of unit. Okay, we will have a slightly reduced kind of like feel to the heroes. So for example, they might actually just not wear gear at all. We're still working through whether we want them to, and they'll basically be, you'll see their stats. You'll see if they've got any things like a weapon. If we do gear, then you'll also see set bonuses. You'll see what level they are, if they're awakened, all that type of stuff. So you'll basically be drafting units. So it might be, in this particular draft, I could pick between Ceres, Jaguar Warrior, and Samurai. And you might think to yourself, well, I've already got someone who does crowd control or turn meter control. Therefore, I don't really need a Ceres. So what do I need? I need someone that can punch out some damage. I'll pick the Samurai. Or I need someone who's going to really gel well with my passive, which I chose the stage before. Or therefore, I might pick the Jaguar Warrior. Okay, so this draft mode basically lets you pick your first 10 heroes. As you then go through the battles, you'll be faced with enemies. Every 5 stages, you'll face a mini-boss. And you'll be choosing from your selection of heroes what you want to face the battle. And obviously, it will show what you're up against for each of the different battles in your sort of pre-selection screen. Now, as you complete a stage, you'll be given another drafting option. So you'll either draft a new hero, and that new hero will basically come in at the same level as your other hero. So let's say you've got to stage 3, all of your heroes have leveled up. So we've got a kind of, where's that? We've got a kind of like just an initial view on what that might look like. So I beat stage 3. Okay, all of my heroes have become level 10, and everyone's got kind of like a passive, for example. So as you work through the draft mode, your heroes that you own already level up and progress. You'll also, as you beat each level, be given a fresh draft. Okay, and that will be either new heroes or a duplicate of a hero you already own. If you get a duplicate of a hero you already own, you're basically going to be pushing up their ability to compete at a higher level of the challenge. So, for example, you'll start with a base hero. If you find one duplicate, you might get their weapon plus imprint, or a weapon plus an imprint. And then the third stage would be you fully awaken that hero. So getting a third or a second dupe, I guess, a third copy of the same hero will actually take them to a much higher power level than if you just kept them as their base. So you've got a number of things that you're working on. You've got your group of heroes, you've got them leveling up as you complete challenges, and then you've also got them potentially being empowered by finding copies of that hero. So you work through the different challenges. You're basically fighting battles against the enemy theme based on the original selection that you made. You've got your 3-way battles, you've got the mini boss battles, and then you'll be earning rewards as you go. So we're working on the economy of this, but ultimately golds and imprints and things like that might be up for grabs. That's kind of like where we are in terms of our head right now, which will be super fun. And then finally, you'll have the final boss. Now, I'm going to be clear, we want this to be a challenging mode. We want for people to make decisions that really count along the way. So we don't expect this to just be I'm just going to clear the 15 battles and it's easy, okay? In fact, we don't want that at all. We want for good runs to be like, oh, I got to stage, I beat the second mini boss and earned some cool rewards. And then almost like the amazing run is I took on the final boss. And we're still working through the mechanics of this part, but it might be a case of you beat the final boss, you get another ticket to enter again, for example. So that's the type of vibe. But yeah, normalized draft mode. We think it's going to be super fun, very streamable as well. So we're thinking that whole sort of drafting experience and understanding what you need to face the different bosses that you're facing will be really fun. There's also elements that we can do. So with this type of draft mode, we could say, this week you're only going to have legendary heroes, or this week you're only going to have epics, or we're only going to have heroes from the order side, not the chaos side. A whole bunch of stuff we can do, honestly, to make this different and fresh as often as we want to, which is really fun. We're also thinking beyond MVP. Okay, so this is the MVP version of draft mode. We could have things like items that drop from the core game, like dungeons and stuff like that help you empower your draft mode. So for example, there might be a drop that you can use which makes all defenders do double damage, or a drop that you could use that makes the first draft that you get a legendary. It's a one and done use, and then it's discarded, but basically you'll have like the ability to power up your drafts in the future. So that's the type of stuff that we're thinking. Hopefully it sort of scratches that itch of a cool, fun, normalized mode with replayability and something a bit fresh.
In my very humble opinion, this is the greatest game mode that I think we all could hope for. Coming from a hardcore gamer that has played thousands of games, has spent thousands of hours, this game mode has the potential to be absolutely amazing. I literally cannot wait. So hyped. Luckily, we have the holidays coming up, so hopefully these months just fly by. This is gonna be so much fun. Major thank you to Simon and Fateless team, putting in the hard work, delivering us this video. This was fantastic. Fateless YouTube channel's almost at 100,000 subscribers. So if you guys aren't over there yet, make sure you guys go subscribe so you can get notified when their new videos go live. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed. And I'll see you on the next one.